Hello, everybody. Welcome to the UPSB Talkshow. I am Hobby Logics, or also known as Hobby, joined with Tigris, Reason, and Jackie Mackey. And today we have a special guest today. His name is Van from our board. You might have seen him from on UPSBT this year. Say hi.
Hi.
What are your inspirations, and what kind of things have you done in the community? Why don't you introduce yourself a little?
People that know me will probably easily tell who my inspiration was. It was Bonkura. I've looked at his spinning since when I really started. He was what really got into me spinning.
Like what year?
What year? I mean, 2010, late 2010.
Oh.
So he was already like gone, and like I couldn't really follow like in real time, but it was already like my big inspiration, even though like people like Peem and everyone was around.
Mm.
I see. Cool. So we're gonna start with the Q&A section. So all the posts that you guys have nicely put onto the thread that we have on the Shoutbox link that Reason helped us put on as well. So we're gonna go through that right now. So first question from Walkus asks, "May I join or not?" We actually limit our podcast to about 4 to 5 people maximum, and we only have a new member as a guest. So Van is here temporarily unless he wants to like sometimes join in occasionally as well. So. For another second question from Shadow Paradox, what were your goals in pen spinning? Tigres, do you want to start?
Nothing. I mean, pen spinning is a hobby, so what's the point of a hobby? Like, you just do it because you like it, right?
Well, I mean,
So, yeah, what?
well, I mean, like pen spinning is still somewhat like a skill-based thing, so I would say you would actually strive for something, right?
Alright, I'll be like the king of pen spinning then. The One Piece reference, you gotta
Alright.
listen to that.
All right, what were your goals, Reason?
At first, I don't know. I guess it was just trying to create something cool and I don't know. I guess something enjoyable. I wanted to make something that people could look at and be like, "Oh wow, that's cool" or "That's beautiful." But as I've gone on, it's still the same that I want to create something that I'm proud of, um, in any way. But where the community is, I mean, I just kind of want to. I just kind of enjoy that I'm able to talk to other people that share the same hobby. That's pretty much goal reached to me. But besides that, yeah, it's just create something that I can take pride in.
So, Van, what were your goals or your goals currently right now?
Like I said, my inspiration was Bonkura, but then he was like gone. So I wanted to see how his style would go in the current stage where there's like a lot of power tricks going on. So like my thing was how he would spin if he was still alive. So I'm not trying to. Stopped trying to like mirror him completely, and try to like branch off of like his variations and stuff. Yeah.
Jackie, what were your goals?
So my goals at first were actually power tricking. Yes, I was a buster noob for a temporary
Oh, damn.
amount of time. But then, yeah, I kind of gave up after realizing how long it took just to learn a simple high twelve, and I switched to 1P2H thanks to Minwoo.
I thought it was
Uh,
Snow.
Yeah,
Minwoo?
and Snow. Yeah, first it was Minwoo, and then I saw Snow in WT, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. But I guess for right now, I'm trying to work on performance spinning.
Eh.
So like a body and environment type of thing.
So
'Cause-
Oka?
Yeah, sort of.
Why is it
but-
Oka? My God.
Oka? I don't know, man.
Ocha.
Ocha.
Yeah, I kind of want to do performance spinning, but I don't know if I'm good enough to do that.
Do the spread pirouette forever.
Like I did post a video of me like doing this
Throwback?
this back throw thing that Minwoo did.
I saw Snow do it too in Walker's.
Yeah, Snow did it too as well. But yeah, I don't know.
My
I think I might give up on that goal too.
Yeah.
So
My goals in pen spinning currently are mostly just to like try to improve my execution in general and try to because back in when I was spinning during UPSBT, I felt like really pressured to like try to bring out like as the most difficult tricks I could do, and I ended up like trying not really caring about my execution at all. So now I'm trying to sort of refine all my older tricks, and that's pretty much my goal right now.
I thought your
Well-
execution was on the better end.
Well,
Please, no.
no.
I mean,
in terms of like smoothness and control, honestly, I don't know. I
Like-
feel like
I think that like what you say as like working on execution as a goal, I think that might be like a temporary thing. Like that's like your current goal maybe, but what is your overall goal? I think what did you want to do when you like started penciling?
Oh, I see.
What's the thing that keeps you going?
Oh no, but I feel like for this hobby, pretty much, it's like I feel the reason why I started this hobby and the reason why I continued with it is because that it seems so creative and it's much different than stuff I've done before. Like I used to like be into like cubing and stuff like that, and like I learned how to juggle before, but those things are like it's too like cubing, like speed cubing. I felt like it got way too repetitive, way too fast, and having a creative outlet where you could like share links and things like that, and actually have a performance art like that makes it very interesting to me. So that's why I guess that's my motivation for pen spinning, I guess.
Good answer.
So
So,
inspirational.
so the next question, this is mostly aimed for Tigris, I guess, because he sort of taught us this on the first episode.
Oh God.
Can you explain in simple terms what Japanese motion is and why noobs should learn it?
It's a minor trick that UPSB spinners typically can't do, especially beginners.
That's
Shots fired.
mean, but okay.
So next question from MPC. Have your PSing skills ever helped you guys pick up women?
less.
Bliss?
If anything, they just get annoyed by the fact you drop it all the time.
Wow.
True.
You got some pretty judgy people that
Yeah,
you're
I know,
spinning next to. Um,
Come on, guys.
like I don't think like I haven't had any assistance with pen spinning helping me pick up a girl or anything, but it actually has really helped me, especially this year since I'm a freshman in community college. It's actually helped me get a lot of friends, believe it or not. Like just because people like come up to me and are like, how the hell do you do that? And I'm like, oh, it's like I jerked off a wizard or something. But
What? Jerk
they're like they're seriously amused by it, and like after that it's just like, oh well, you're cool, and like people will actually talk to me after that, and I have difficulty approaching people normally, so I think I think it's a pretty good thing. I think it does help socially, so maybe I haven't gotten a girlfriend from it or anything or a blowjob, but it has helped me.
PG-13,
Wow,
please.
this is legit, man. You actually gave a serious answer. This is what happens if you joke around NPC, if you're wondering.
Well, I mean, technically, I can relate that with reason. Like, I've got a lot more social than before because I couldn't approach with people. But after with pen spinning, they were like, "Oh my God, you Asian." I'm like, okay.
It basically like it helps, like it gives people something to talk about, right? So you sort of.
It is a good icebreaker.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean, you do get people to talk to you, but I mean, are they girls or guys though?
Both.
In my case, at least, it's mostly guys.
Really?
really
In my
matter.
case, it's
Yeah.
mostly girls.
It's okay.
Oh.
Whoa.
In any case,
I'm
guys.
serious, man.
In any case, NPC also asks, what stage of your pen spinning progression was the most enjoyable? Why don't you start, Jackie?
Most enjoyable? I would say when I start getting the concept of combos, that was the most enjoyable progression I've ever experienced.
Was it just like, sorry.
Because there was like this point where you just keep learning individual tricks, but you don't really get down a specific combo. But what really helped me was watching these tutorials from Parixer, who made like mini linkages, and I pretty much learned from him and went from there. And yeah,
Is
it was
he a
pretty
PPP
awesome.
spinner?
Yeah.
Oh, power. Okay.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, Parixer.
What spinner was he? from?
PPP.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because it
Yeah.
wasn't very clear. It was kind of interrupted.
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was the most enjoyable moment for PSing for me.
How
Everything
was-
else after that was eh.
So, how about you, Reason?
For me, it was probably around the same time uh, when I started freestyling and making my own combos, and especially because it was a point where I was able to like learn tricks faster than I had ever been able to before. I would look up a couple tutorials per week, and I would be able to get them down by the end of the week, like the trick. It was a really enjoyable experience because I was getting better at such a quicker rate, and I was capable of learning things so much faster. Um, Plus, I was able to implement them in combos pretty fast as well. It was overall that was probably the most enjoyable time, just because it was so quick to satisfy me. Um, yeah.
How about you, Tigres?
Well, I mean, everyone says like they enjoyed making combos, but I enjoyed rather when I learned the backfall or like individual tricks, because like the impact of you performing a single thumb around is obviously big because you like done it. You're like, oh my god, I've done it, and then you progress to the next trick like Sonics, and then finally you go to the point where you can perform combos and freestyles and all that stuff. And I think so. Overall, in conclusion, I think learning individual tricks was enjoyable in my PSing career.
Nice. How about you, Van, our special guest?
For me, it's when I actually saw myself improve, like video to video. So like when I actually like film something and then I'll film something again the next month, and then if I actually see like a progression from my last video, it was actually enjoyable. So at one point I stopped seeing it, and then I got like really, I don't know, out of it. So like I actually quit for a year. But then when I came back, I actually saw some improvement for whatever reason. So I got back into it again, and I'm here again. So yeah.
For me, actually, I think the best stage of my improvement, just from the fact when I started like making combos and freestyling, like people would start to notice that I was not just like a random guy who just started learning like the thumb around and might just like stop spinning like a few days later. So they started sort of like watching me and sort of tried to encourage me to continue. That's how I met like some of you guys. So it made it, and I felt that feeling of community a lot more than a lot of some other people would. Having you guys on Skype and stuff, it just made it really enjoyable for me. Having someone to talk to and having people to talk to be able to like ask for like feedback and be able to improve like different aspects of my own pen spinning. That just helped a lot. So,
Uh, well,
next question from Spytos. He asks, "What is the hardest trick you've ever learned?"
American Motion.
American Motion,
American Motion?
straight up.
Please.
You guys are too pro, man.
That's
Nah.
it's a hard question to answer because there are so many tricks that were really hard for me to learn.
Yep.
I mean, like the hardest trick I could do is not the hardest trick I had like trouble learning. So
Exactly.
like it depends what this question means. Like, what's the hardest trick you could do, like in terms of difficulty,
Yeah.
or like hardest thing that was hard to learn.
I feel
Maybe
like
in categories too, like like dexterity, power, and all that stuff.
he's trying to ask like what's the trick that took the longest time to learn, basically.
Really, in my interpretation, it was the difficulty, but
But let's just go with that for now, with how long it took, because that'll
okay,
make it a bit easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for future reference, guys, if you want to like make your
specify.
questions more specific, that would help us a lot in our podcast.
So what trick, guys?
Do you want to start
All right.
first,
All right,
Matt
sure.
or Jack, Tigris?
I mean, my hardest trick or the longest trick I took, it was a backfall. I think a lot of people would agree with it because you might stumble on your ring finger. You guys never got that?
It was my pinky more like.
Yeah, I felt it was more my ring, just because I don't know, the flexibility of her ring finger like just isn't there as much, and I felt it's just more of that. I feel
I
like
guess
pinky
it's
back.
stuck there.
Yeah, I feel like the pinky back part of it is more like the anxiety of having like doing the last part of it.
Like I gotta finish this.
Yeah, exactly. So Jackie, what did you find the hardest?
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Backfall, specifically the ring back area,
Yep.
and that mid back 1.5. I
Oh,
just could never get that extra rotation or catch it in the correct slot to continue another one. That was really hard to get for me. So, reason?
Oh, I do like I actually didn't have much of a problem with the backfall, believe it or
Oh
not.
my god.
But
Too good.
mid back 1.5s were such a pain for me. It actually it took me until I actually challenged another spinner. I don't even know if he's active anymore, but Keoflow.
Oh.
We had we challenged each other. Whoever could get 10 mid back 1.5s first would be, I guess, the winner. And I actually managed to get 12 before he could get like 7, so I was kind of happy with that. But
Nice.
my actual hardest trick to learn, I think, was thumb around reverse. It was the second trick I tried to learn, and it took me about 6 months.
wow,
Oh,
Oh.
that's a long time, man. It's always one of those tricks that everyone takes a long time on. I feel like
After that, though, everything kind of fell into place, so it was
yeah.
good.
I feel like for me, the hardest trick that I took the longest to perfect was probably like just multiple like twisted sonic butts. Like I remember when I first started doing it, I did it in such a weird way. Like I didn't know like exactly what I was doing. I sort of like made my hand go to like palm side, and it was like a weird hand position where I would curl my fingers in like a loser, that kind of hand. Like,
loser.
yeah, that kind of hand position.
Loser.
Yeah, that you know the L when you hold up your hand like that.
Oh.
I did that. I sort of bent my other fingers too much like that, and it made it like kind of weird to actually do bus. And eventually, I sort of relaxed my hand over time. My pinky, I tried to make my pinky like work out, and that it took a long time for that to work. So yeah, that was my trick that took a long time to perfect. So Van,
Backs were actually not much of a trouble for me, like backfall or 1.5, but arounds were a problem, like ring around and reverses.
Yes.
Can
Yeah.
I do reverses right now? Not really. I
They
cannot
call it
do around
gunman,
reverse.
I think, right?
That's gunman. Which one's gunman? Is that reverse? No.
It's a reverse. Gunman.
Yeah,
Gunman's
yeah. I can't do around reverses without like pausing in a combo. So I can't use them in a combo unless it's like from a Twisted Sonic or not Twisted Sonic, like Sonic Clip 3-4 or something.
yeah,
And yeah, so like that's one thing. And the other thing was like triangle pass on like the pinky, the 2-3-4. Those were just a pain to like
yeah.
actually start getting fluid on them.
Bon
After I
Kura
got
style.
oh yeah, that.
Cool.
So Van, I know you wanted to answer this question. Raise or Light wants to ask, how do you guys think spinners can make better linkages?
Oh, it's my personal opinion, honestly, but I used to play Tack On sometimes, even on like Tiny Chat or sometimes on the forum. But those Tack On games, since you're playing with like different people with like completely different styles, it's like they will come up with a linkage that you might like never think of. So it's like you get ideas from different people. So I feel like playing Attack On is like a good way to learn linkages. I don't know if it will be better linkages, but it's something that you could actually learn from. So please, someone join the tack on, please.
Everyone join the
Please.
tack on, guys. Make the tack on become a thing again.
It's been 2 weeks. No one responded. I'm on the verge of tacking myself on.
Reason.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah. Like I totally agree with Van at this point that like doing tack on games really helped me find new linkages that I wouldn't have used before, especially when someone throws like a trick at you and you're like, where do I go from this? And you actually really have to think about it and come up with a new idea. Like Jackie, do you remember the one tack on game that we had there?
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, that challenged me so much, and I came up with like 3 or 4 different linkages just from that because we had so many back and forths. As well as that, I think a good way to come up with linkages is just watching videos. Just always watch pen spinning and keep up with it because, I mean, for one, it can't hurt. It doesn't hurt to keep up with, who's good now and what has been good for a long time, and just finding what you like about it. It helps to find what you like and then develop your links based on that or inspired by that. It's always a good idea. All right.
Okay, Van, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So I know the point of tack on is to like if you want to win, it's to let the other person not complete a trick. So some people might go with like a really hard trick, but then if you actually want to learn, I feel like it's another way to enjoy tack on when if you don't keep it at like a really hard trick, like just go from a Sonic to like a Punyu, but like keep it in like a reasonable level so you could like learn something instead of like a tack on ending in 5 tricks or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, like some people will come in randomly, be like, bam, this trick, and then the tack on just ends.
Yeah, I completely understand. It's like, should I start my tack on with a twirl, guys?
I mean,
If
please.
I start my tack on with a twirl.
I mean, twirl's not bad, but like,
Twirl is hard. What are you
Twirl's not
talking
that hard, don't
about?
worry.
I hate it.
I feel like it's more of a thing where I forgot what I was gonna say. It's okay. So
Yeah, but twirls though, like they're so hard. Like I don't know how you guys like make it look good. Like if I do it, it looks like it's cringed or something.
yeah, it's just like I think if you get the concept, you sort of make it easier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Tigers, what did you want to say about Rise's question?
About better linkages, like I agree with tack-ons and all stuff, but there's another way, which is to watch a variety of spinners. Like beginners, I feel like they don't browse a lot in YouTube. They only look at tutorials and stuff. But there are a lot of spinners on YouTube that has great linkages, and I think part of like you're in particular like as an individual spinner to get better linkages is to copy other people's linkages. So you will know like the way you like to spin, and somehow you can create originality to that by combining tricks or making tricks of your own. And yeah.
So I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to copy because I want to be original and be like distinct from other spinners. But when you're starting off and like building a base for your own style or whatever you want to spin like, it's like the basic step is to like start with like a role model and have a good reference to where you could get linkages from. It doesn't have to be one or but like 1 or 2 spinners.
Jackie.
And about that, role models, okay? Not idols, role models. Okay.
What?
Do not get overly obsessed with like one kind of spinner just so you can get there.
Or what type of board?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jebster.
No, Van used the correct word. I'm just saying role models is a good word.
Like
Not
trying to,
idols.
yeah. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys.
I mean, the most simple step, in my opinion, I mean, people wouldn't do this anyways. They would just go to a power tutorials. Is just Korean solos. Like, okay, this is my role model is basically Korean spinners. Like, okay, I'm not gonna list them, but if you search up Korean solos like PDS solos, these spinners are spinning in 2003, and they doing the most fundamental tricks like twisted sonics, arounds, thumb arounds. Like I think copying those and then raise up your consistency of the tricks is makes you a better spinner, making better linkages. And
When you mean, oh, never mind.
what? What do you mean?
No, when you mean Korean spinners, you mean like 2000,
I
early
mean, like
2000,
really old stuff, like
not
2005
now. Right? You know what I
or
mean?
6.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah, nah. I mean, PDS doesn't exist right now. It's like KBDS. They're like changing names every year, but
I mean, like
yeah.
Korean spinners right now will not be what you're thinking of Korean spinners, right? Right?
Well, Korean spinners like when I say Korean spinners, I think a lot of people will refer to the old part of KPDS because that's what they were oftenly called. So
Yeah, I think I think it's important to like. I mean, I agree with what you say about like looking at Korean spinners specifically. You know, PDS old solos because they do have a lot to offer, but I think people in general just need to have a diverse group of role models, and I think the idea of looking at one specific section of pen spinning and trying to copy that isn't necessarily a good idea. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. But if you want to, like, I don't know, just in general be a
a
great
better
pen spinner,
spinner.
yeah, I think you should look at a lot of different aspects, including, the great execution and control of these Korean spinners, plus things like, the ridiculous links and creativity of Feltufram, as well as something maybe like power of Peem or something like that. I think you should take all these things into consideration. Get a diverse, group of role models to look after. When you want to find something in that specific field, look at one of these spinners that you think emphasizes this well. And if you're not sure about, you know, which person to look to for this category, always ask an oldie because a lot of them do have good ideas. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them don't, but a lot of people are out there who are willing to help you, and like just don't forget that.
I mean, you have any examples of like role models you have too?
Oh, can
Um,
I? Oh, never mind.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, like I think I had like two completely different types of role models that were pretty balanced. It ended up being like really balanced. Like I said, I had Bonkura, but then another really big uh, role model I had was Seven, and like those two styles are really different. But then having those two role models ended up being like it made me like an individual, if you know what I mean.
Like you want to mix those two styles somehow?
Yeah, like I started to like mix those two. Although at first I was like, oh, if I spin a DC mod, I'll spin like Bonkura. If I spin an SC mod, I'll spin like Seven. But
Oh.
I mean, it still is like that. But my style in general is pretty much a mix of those two right now. So I like it at least.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. So, do you want to move on to Xenix's question?
Sure.
He wants
Yeah.
us, well, it's not really a question. He just wants us to sort of go over like what's the best way to sort of edit collab videos in general. Since he is an editor, he probably wants to improve upon that.
Edit?
Edit.
Well, I mean, I mean, yeah, I mean, how much editing experience do we all have here?
I made a solo once.
I made a solo too. I
I
made
made it a
promos
solo
actually.
twice.
I made parody videos, but
All right, that's the hardest.
I mean, in general, I guess we don't know too much about editing, but like I know Xenix asks about like because he uses like After Effects, right? Obviously, but we don't really know all like the advanced little things that he does. But in general, like he probably wants to know how to improve like maybe musicality and stuff like that.
Okay.
Actually, I think what he really means is what people will think a good edit is, not like how you should do it. I mean, honestly, he's one of like the top 3 people that could actually edit in UPSB. So I don't think he'll be asking about what like how to. It's like what a good edit will be. So like what spinners will actually like it or not. You know?
I mean, there are definite components of what a good collab is. Like one is obviously good edit, like openings, endings, all that stuff. Another one would be music syncs with the combo. Like for example, when a spinner is going to finish a combo, that's when the song ends, stuff like that. Like that's the basic general example. Um, Also, I think the presentation of each spinner and how the music is going with that would be good too. Like for example, in the slow-paced music, smooth spinners or maybe slow spinners would fit in the music. Also, like fast-paced music like techno, all that stuff like power would be good. Also, emphasis on camera angles and zooming and all that stuff might be in. Like overall, editing collabs, it's a very hard task to do. But if you somehow do all these stuff like some music syncs and zooming and all that stuff, I think it will be a good collab.
Yeah, so yeah, I understand what you mean, Tigers. Like all the basic editing things, music syncs, like presentation of each spinner. But also, what's important about editing is that it's sort of like a support, as you said before, right? So you don't want to like overdo it. Also, you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make it so that this, like if you are editing and organizing, you want the lineups to be good and you want them
Yeah,
to
lines
be,
to be good.
yeah.
Also, filtering would be definitely an important task to do too. Like
Yeah.
you can't just be like all good spinners and then turn into one shitty spinner. I'm sorry, but shitty spinner would be
Yeah,
a good way to describe it.
yeah. You always have to have a good lineup, or else it's
Yeah.
just gonna not work. Reason?
Yeah, I agree in that sense that you should have like a good eye for pen spinning if you're going to be editing as well. Simply for that case that you want to again filter out the bad combos, not just the ones that are good in your eyes. And again, I think that music sync is extremely important in those senses. If music sync isn't really good in a collab, then it loses my interest pretty fast. And I mean, like, not to offend anyone, but I think that's the case with a lot of people too. Is it's not quite as smooth or as pleasing. I remember at one point Nexus, if anyone remembers him, not that he was like a editing god or anything, but he told me that the hardest or the most important part of editing was finding the right music for it. And I kind of insist that that holds true in some senses, that you really need to rely on the music to carry the entire collab. But again, at the same time, you don't want to like overdo the edit either. Simple edits, don't overlook them, because they really can be just as good as an extremely hard edit or something really complex.
Alright, so everyone go to this link. It's the collab with Talentica Neoe. I want you to see here's a major example of music sync. Timing, it would be at Joshin part, which is 150. And you can see that when his combo finishes, the music like it ends at a perfect timing. And I think what editors need is that, where like there's like good parts, like there's like, I would say it's like a juicy part of the collab. You're like when the music sync, I say juicy. It's like literature. You're like, the imagery is amazing. You're like, oh, like that. Or like whenever I see those kind of stuff, I'm like, oh my god, please make more collabs like this. And yeah, that's my explanation.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about Waka's force, and I mentioned a part about music sync, so I'm gonna go to Hobby's combo actually. Anyways, it's around 26 seconds when Hobby starts doing these cardioid wipers or
Wait, is this
ASS
walk
wipers.
ass?
That's what.
Ass wipe. Okay, sure.
Basically, it's Baron's invention, just to credit Baron.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
wanna,
Baron's trick,
I
but
don't want to like
yeah,
take it as
when
mine.
basically Waka's managed to sync Happy with his wipers, it's actually pretty nice touch. And then
Then we gotta ask Hobby, how was it
How was the
Okay.
Waka's collab itself?
being between Japanese people?
Oh man, I was really surprised, man. Like I was actually watching the collaboration.
Oh my god.
when it just
you
came
were like-
out with
Yeah.
Van on like Skype,
Yeah.
and I was just like, wait, what? Why am I like in between all these like people who have like such great execution?
I thought Ayaku was GPC, but he was like
Yeah.
LPSA. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I thought he
betrayed
was
me.
GPC as well. Except I guess he focused so much on like execution and stuff like that.
Shitty cam, please.
Much style.
Steel series.
okay, and I also want to mention about a few things that got me a little bit mad. It's in Office's fourth. Most of it is cutting combos, and it was very noticeable for Pixels' combo.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you're gonna cut, well, just don't, okay? Please don't cut combos. It just doesn't look. I mean, if you can get away with it, fine, but for something that noticeable, just don't do it.
I mean, cuts are necessary in my opinion, though. But
Yeah,
Pixels,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
it was too
necessary.
long.
But when it's like just so noticeable, it just makes the combo like seem
bad.
uneven there. Yeah.
How did you guys feel about just like being in the collab in general, Tigris and
Being part of the international collab is, I mean, it is a great pleasure to me. But at this point, international collabs are very common. Like, it's really easy to communicate with good spinners. Like, I was able to invite some spinners, like Ozone and all those people. Like, it's really easy to communicate. So, not that I'm saying that international collabs are not good, but I think as a normal collab, I think it was good to be in it.
Reason, what did you think?
Like, to me, I felt of course pleased to be in it, because it's Waka's collabs are always like really pleasing, and it brings in a good crowd, and he's always got a good turnout for it. But I was honestly a lot more satisfied with both my combo and to generally be in Waka's third. And that was simply because, I mean, I kind of liked the collab better in general than Waka's fourth, and I think my combo for it was much better as well. But I don't know, it was still like a satisfying experience all the same. To be in a collab with so many great spinners is always a very flattering and I don't know, just a good experience.
Yeah, for me, I feel the exact same way. Like being able to like be in a collab with such great spinners, it's just like it's like honor. I feel honored basically to be in a collab like this, because like there is filtering. So the fact that I actually made it into this collab, and all the other great spinners also are in this collab as well, it's really satisfying. This is what makes spinning so much fun for me sometimes. It's just the fact where you get approval of what you've been doing for the past years.
I think that's what motivates a lot of spinners too. Like, they want to be with this particular spinner in their collab. Like, if you were to be like with some legendary spinner, or be a collab with like Peem, or okay, not me, but Peem, or like a really famous JB spinner, like let's see, Hal or Manoa and all those people. I think that really motivates a lot of spinners to spin and record. Recording is like the important part for pen spinning, because otherwise, how do you show it in the internet? So, um, you need to record more to be a better spinner. So yeah.
Reason?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to add that, well, to me, recording for collabs has been like the main reason why I've like improved, like more so than even filming for battles or for uh, UPSB tournament or anything like that. And I think it's helped me improve the most. And like honestly, my greatest experience, and I think my like still my greatest achievement is being in the Outreach collab. I feel like that was the collab I was most proud to be in, because I was right next to a lot of the people I had idolized and a lot of my friends in UPSB, and it's exactly where I want it to be. Um, so that's pretty much it.
All
Wait,
right, so
Outreach was the one with JEB and UPSB, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
all right, so guys, switching topics now. What do you guys think about what's a good combo in terms of presentation? Now we're trying to like inform the public as to what's the best sort of presentation angles, setups, etc. Tigers, why don't you start about this?
All right. Since I'm a JB guy, I must say this. All right. Get ready, guys. Execution. Okay.
Nails and sleeves.
Execution.
Your
Like
Furies.
Stop. Go on, Tigres.
Sleeves.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Get the
guys.
sleeves
Okay.
on.
Okay, Tigres, continue.
I mean, but seriously, like execution would be the number one part of it. In terms of like if you want to make a collab, I mean, make a video for a collab. Like otherwise, if your if your like spinning was really wobbly or like struggling and spinning and all this stuff, it wouldn't fit the collab whatsoever. Like you need to execute it perfectly. By execution, it doesn't mean just perform every trick flawlessly, but also control it. Like there's an impact. There's always a different impact on how you spin and what to do. Like a big example would be like just spinning in a constant speed and spinning at a slow tempo to a fast tempo. Like these two combos, even though it's the same breakdown, if one's constant and one's like slow to fast, it'll bring a different influence to it. Another one would be the angle. Like if your angle was on like top view and all that stuff, people would barely know what you're doing. So it has to be like at least if you're, of course, if you're ready, like be like top right angle. So so you can show your hand and the spinning and the pen.
From a person who's been trying to actually improve his execution, I've been like asking, like talking to Tigres and Van. I was in call with them actually, and I was talking about like trying to fix my angle and stuff like that. So I spent like a good couple days just trying to fix my angle and make it look good because apparently for the longest time no one has told me like if my angle's even any good or bad or not. So I feel like that there's a lot more effort than a lot of people think in terms of execution. It's not just like execution and presentation. It's not just like just simple things that you can do in a couple of days. You can actually spend tons, couple weeks just like trying to perfect everything. And after like trying to learn a lot of things about execution, I learned that there's stuff like the flow, which helps like the speed changes in your combo that drastically affect your execution, the amount of your wrist movement, so the amount that you actually move your wrist that actually affects it. Like if you move your wrist too much, obviously it might go off cam and stuff like that. So you want to minimize wrist movement and stuff like that. That makes it really hard than most people think it would. Van, did you want to say something?
Yeah. So for angles, it honestly depends on your style because like Tigger said, he said like top down angles wouldn't be like it's not really visible when you do like a side trick. And I actually agree because I actually have a top down angle, but it depends on like what tricks you base your combos off of. Like I base mine most of like top spins, like triangle pass. Well, it's not really a top spin, but it's when your hands are like up. So those angles really depends on like what tricks you do. So you could have a same angle as some JEB guy that would have a perfect angle and it looks good. But when you do it, it might not look exactly the same because you won't have the same style as that person. And that angle might not be what's good for you. And like what Hobby was talking about, wrist movements, that's also part of style. So if you do have like some typical top right diagonal angle, sure, it might not be really good. But if you do have like a top straight down angle, if you do like more artistic sort of combo with more flow and like smoothness involved, it would actually work out fine. So
Yep.
depends on your style. Like yeah, Jackie would agree.
Uh-huh.
Reason? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I agree in that sense that you're talking about, where your ideal angle will vary between what style you have and spinners in general. Um, and I think that the best way to like figure that out, if you're using a webcam, make sure you can see on your monitor your spinning and move the webcam around in your lighting. And it's going to take a long time to figure this out, but just keep moving it around until you find that point where you're happy with how your spinning looks. And I mean, this may change over time anyways, but I always try to tell people it's always a good idea to go from obviously an upper angle in general and try to show your palm in it, especially like
Palm
the
side,
back.
right? Not palm. You don't want to have it directly to your palm because that won't show it.
No,
right.
not well, like top side, if you know what I'm saying.
Like just an angle to show your palm
Diagonal.
side the best.
Diagonal.
You mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like not directly horizontal towards your palm. But enough so that you could just kind of see what's going on. That's the most important thing. But after that, it's all about aesthetics and how it looks. And the most minor adjustments may change how that looks. And to some people, a close-up angle will look better, but it might not suit you because you move your hand around more. And it is a good idea to try to get out of that habit. But like that's my problem is I often do far away angles, so it's like it doesn't look quite as good, but that's simply because I'm not controlling my my spinning quite as well, so I need more space to move my hand around. But with that as well, I try to help people out with specifically presentation, because if you're trying to share your pen spinning or like trying to get advice on it, you really need to have a decent angle. That is really important. And people don't put emphasis on that. They just think, oh, well, my spinning's fine. That's okay. You know, I'll do fine anyways. But if you don't have a good angle, people aren't going to be able to tell you what you're doing good or what you're doing bad. So try to find a decent angle where at least you're viewable if you want to get assistance. That's pretty much it for me.
All right, Jackie, do you want to put in the last comment of the podcast?
Pretty much Reason, Van, and Tigris just covered everything I wanted to say.
How about personally? What do you think? Like, what have you done?
So when I started, I was unable to look directly through the camera as to how I was spinning. So pretty much I just stuck with a top-down angle for the most part. And if you're unable to look through the camera to view your spinning, like sort of like a webcam kind of thing, then the best thing, well, I guess the only option you could do is to place markers on the floor to demonstrate where the camera angle, where the camera view stops. Basically, I said that it's good to place markers to where the angle stops, so that way you can know at which part of the floor or wherever you put your markers to spin at, so you don't go off angle. But that's only if you have no way of viewing through the camera in your own eyes.
Like an iPod, right?
Yeah, like an iPod, like how I used to.
Digital
Actually,
camera.
even-
What is that?
For me, actually, even like the setup I have now, I actually have tape to show like which direction the angle of my arm should be. Like this is how precise I want them.
Really?
Yes, I'm that
Nice.
OCD.
See, yeah, I use a digital camera, so I can't really
Oh,
see what I'm
yeah.
doing most of the time. I have to set up it beforehand and like find where my hand is gonna be, and it took so much like trial and error to find a decent angle and setup because I had to like, set it up, film it, look back at it, and then somehow recreate that setting again.
Yeah.
And with
So-
that, I would say we should end the podcast. So, do you guys want to just say goodbye to the viewers?
It is not goodbye, but until next time on the UPSB podcast. Farewell.
Say hi.
Hi. I'm back.
You're already cracking up.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Pretty much. And then you can find a way to avoid getting off cam when you're spinning, especially when you do a lot of wrist movements.
What?
Jackie, do you want to say? Jackie, do you want to
just
say?
like,
Jackie, do you want to say the last thing again because I kind of
you're like you went rogue mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
you went robot.
When did I stop?
I don't know. Just say the sometime.
Say the last two sentences.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with the Q&A section. So all the posts that you guys have nicely put onto the thread that we have on the Shoutbox link that Reason helped us put on as well. So we're gonna go through that right now. So first question from Waka is he's asking like if I could join, but we have a little podcast thing we're doing here where we try to keep our maximum amount of people to 4 to 5 and I dropped my pen, that's not good.
Max drops American motion.
Okay.
Stop.
This American motion is
Okay.
working actually.
Okay. Goodbye
No.
guys. See ya.
No.
No?
Bliss.
Bye.
It
See
is
you
not
guys.
goodbye, but
Goodbye.
until next time.
Until next time.
Actually, let Reason do everything.
What?
What?
Yeah, let the
Yeah,
boss
sex
handle
toy.
everything.
You want me
No.
to repeat that?
Yeah, let the sexy voice do it.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
yeah, Reason, you can
We'll
be
do
the
this.
announcer guy. And...
You'd be like,
It is not goodbye, but until
Hey,
next
whoa,
time.
T-Guys, you had sound. Stop.
We
okay.
need drum rolls.
Really?
Reason,
Okay.
okay, ready?
Drum
3,
rolls.
2, 1, go.
It is not goodbye, but until next time on the UPSB podcast. Farewell. Was that good?
Yeah, that was good.
Wow.
That was awesome.
That was
The
awesome.
panties are dropping.
All right.
All right. I'm probably gonna
I
go.
am done.